What's going on, world? It's your man Chuck Creekmer, aka Jigsaw, here at allhiphop.com with one of my favorite human beings, T-Dubb O, who's going to talk to us a little bit about what he's got going on right now, including his new record label, Audacity Records. What's going on, my brother? How you doing?
What's up, Chuck? Long time, man.
Been a minute, man. I was
What's
talking,
good?
I was thinking today, I was like, yo, I think we rocking with almost like 10 years now, right? Or
Close to it. It's over 7 for sure. I think 2015 South by Southwest was the first time we really locked in.
Okay, got you. So how you doing, man? Well, like, what's going on in St. Louis right now?
Man, St. Louis is St. Louis, man. You're very familiar with the atmosphere here. Musically, it's always great. You know, we gave you things like Chuck Berry, Ike Turner, so on and so forth, Nelly, and so many other greats. And then great battle rap has come from here.
Mm-hmm.
So many underground classic artists. And then you got the culture. You feel me? So St. Louis is a gift and a curse. It's one of the most dangerous cities in the world, according to the FBI. But it's beautiful at the same time. So
Talk about the record label and what you got cooking. I was listening to your new artist, and I was bumping some of the records, and I was like, wow, this is good stuff. It's quality.
I started actually the reason AMG came about. It wasn't even my idea. I ain't gonna even take the credit for that. My one of my partners, Bodine, who's also an independent artist here. Um, I started to take off like the battle rap was going crazy. I had just dropped the album with Woodley, with the single with Wiz Khalifa and Burner and all these different things was going on. Offers was coming in. Uh, and Bodine, he was like, man, we just need to get everybody behind you because it's been so long since St. Louis has had a breakout artist. And it's not due to a lack of talent. It's simply due to a lack of resources, lack of opportunity, and then the wrong gatekeepers that was in position that before we came, old enough to basically step in a position. So I'm not the type of person to be like, you know what, everybody come with me. I'm the leader. Follow me. This is what I'm gonna do. Even though I've been in those positions several times, I've never been that type of person. So I said, you know what, y'all not gonna run behind me. We gonna run together. So I'm gonna start a label, which is more so going to be end up being like an umbrella corporation because I'm huge on ownership and black artists predominantly, owning their work. So I'm like, I'm gonna get all the artists together. If I'm gonna be the person that we gonna center around to begin, at the same time, I'm trying to build everybody else up because the minute if I get a shot, I want to be able to instantly open that door for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So that was the point of starting Audacity Music Group.
Got you. So what would you say is different with your group and say others out here?
Well, first the work, the consistency. In St. Louis, just in the 2 years that we've been active, we already broke the record for most consistent releases by a locally owned label. So we got 10 projects out right now. We went crazy during the pandemic when everything shut down.
Mhm.
The studio that I was frequenting shut down due to COVID.
Mhm.
I didn't let that stop me. I went and built one, and I invited all the artists to come over, and we just got in every day and locked in. They put a curfew on the city. We were still in the studio going crazy. We just continued to drop projects, and then the quality of it. St. Louis has a bad rep in regards to the quality of music that we able to produce because of what transpired in the past. Like it's real great MCs here, as y'all have seen on the battle rap course, but it's real MCs that can do both. That can battle but also make great music. We got some greats here. So I think that's the difference between what AMG brings to the table versus some of the other things that our city has produced in the past.
What do you think about Nelly's impact on the impression that people see about St. Louis? And is he sort of like somebody you might look to help bring more awareness around the brand?
To bring more awareness to what we doing, no. To constantly bring awareness to the city, definitely. Every time I travel, like I said, it's a gift and a curse. The first thing, if people don't know anything from St. Louis, they know Nelly. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him for what he did for the city in regards to shining light on it and being the first to break through that door. Uh, I personally feel like he could have and should have done more. Um, but I think that's what I'm here for.
Okay. I noticed, as you mentioned a couple times, you still battle rap. You just did one recently.
Yeah.
I know, you've been battle rapping for years. I would have thought, oh, he's probably over that by now. What keeps you motivated with the art of battle rap?
I'm a true MC, Chuck. I started like how I was bred. I was raised by older cats. You feel me? So I never really gravitated towards. I hung with guys my age, but I used to be with them guys like them OGs. So the essence of a MC that was included in that battling. You know what I'm saying? Writing songs. So I never did one or the other. When I started the battle rap, I started to put out mixtapes, and it completely eradicated the quote unquote cliche that battle rappers couldn't make music. And they like, damn, dude, dope. But the whole time I'm doing both. I've been doing both forever. So that's just a piece of me. You know what I'm saying? I think any competitive MC that want to be great, that's always going to be a part of them. Some of them may not ever step into that ring or haven't stepped in that ring, but some of them come from that. Jigga done had battles in the past. Eminem comes from that. You know what I'm saying? So many others. Kendrick has had battles on camera back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So most of the great MCs got that in their repertoire. I just like to keep my pistol loaded.
Right. You've released several songs this year. How hard is it for you to be an artist and also run a label?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm extremely blessed with the fact that I don't sleep. I don't naturally sleep much. You know what I'm saying? I don't do no drugs. I don't do none of that. I'm just a naturally hungry person. So it don't take much for me to stay hungry and dedicated. Uh, One of the first things I've really learned how to do, and I think really just coming from the street, is being able to compartmentalize so many different things. You know what I'm saying? And be so many different things in so many different settings. Uh, if I'm doing a revolutionary work, I'm revolution. It's revolution. You feel me? It's social justice. We doing political education. We talking history. When I'm in the studio, it's the artist. And when it's the business time, I'm the businessman. You know what I'm saying? And when I was in the street, it was being that. So just being able to compartmentalize and use the different weapons that are inside me and not let them conflict with each other helps me continue to keep that going. So when I'm focused on my artist, I'm focused on my artist. I'm not trying to figure out a way that I'm gonna do with my next project or bring like to me. I'm trying to make them elevate to be the greatest. The same energy that I put into myself trying to be the greatest, I put into them.
Dope. Now, you mentioned revolutionary work. A lot of us, and maybe that's where my 10 years sort of starts, is, Ferguson. And a lot of people knew you from Ferguson. What do you think about that now that, like, all this time has passed? And, are you still locked in, or how do you, a lot of people have come and gone.
Right.
Some people got paid,
Right.
What do you think about it now in hindsight?
I think we did what we were supposed to do for our city, and we continue to do what we did for our city. Some battle rappers have made jokes like I went outside to get attention, but what a lot of people don't understand is I sacrificed a lot leaving my house to go stand up for Black people, and I did that because one, I had been a victim of the school to prison pipeline. I had been harassed by police from the time I was a child. I watched my family be harassed, assaulted by police at the time when I was a child. Going back to the slavery days and the slave catchers now turning into the current police structure that we have. Like I've always been that type of guy to preach that shit on the block while we on the block. You feel me? But that we never really had a huge revolutionary moment here in St. Louis, that Black Power moment. It was certain people that had glimpses of it, but we never had that here. And I think everything that we had went through, our generation growing up, gave us the strength and the courage to do what we did in Ferguson. Every time we went around the world speaking about it, people would ask us, what was the difference between Ferguson and a lot of these other situations that had happened previously? And I tell them simply, you dealing with a generation from St. Louis that grew up in the most dangerous times ever, that simply just don't give a fuck, excuse my language. We lost hope in everything politically from our conception. We lost hope in our elders from our conception. And we was just tired, you know what I'm saying? And the only way we knew was to go out there and be courageous about it and say, you know what, we've been fighting all our lives. we got to fight the military for our freedom. That's what we're gonna do. And unfortunately, as we've seen with so many movements in the past, COINTELPRO, the social justice element of national organizations coming in to hijack movements in order for fundraising and to propel middle class lifestyles and fund budgets for the next decade or so, versus doing what they say they do in they mission statements, which is actually coming to save lives. So the difference in regards to what we did, we say, you know what, we're gonna model the FUBU model. You know, we're gonna look back into our elders in regards to hip hop, because at the end of the day, we are hip hop. We're gonna start our own organization, and it's gonna be for us, by us, for the community, from people from the community. You know what I'm saying? Instead of reacting when somebody is already dead, we know the variables that lead them to that point, whether they get gunned down by community violence, whether it's predatory policing, whether it's so many of these other different factors that end our lives prematurely. We're going to start to focus on preventative measures in regards to programming versus reactionary. And that's when we started Hands Up United, started the programs that you all seen, the books and breakfast that was modeled in 38 cities, 3 other countries, the tech program, the Friday Freedom Flicks, the It's Okay to Dream, bringing kids into art spaces and cultivating dreaming. Of course, always pressing frontline and standing toe to toe against the system in regards to our people. And then even getting involved in civic engagement. You know what I'm saying? We don't believe voting is the end all be all, but it's a piece on the chessboard. And I'm a strategic type of man. I'm gonna use every piece in my repertoire. So if we got to cultivate some candidates and make sure we build enough power with our programs to get them folks elected, that's what we're gonna do, and that's what we have done. So still super active, never left. I don't consider myself an activist, more so a revolutionary in training. I'm not a paid organizer. I do this out the kindness of my heart. I do this out the passion and my willingness to want to change things for our people, all our people, my sons, my family, my community, all Black folks across the board.
No doubt. What are your thoughts on people like DRay? I think I call him specifically because he got arrested and it was a big deal, and
everybody got arrested, man. Who didn't get arrested?
But his was a big deal. Like, that was splattered across every website at the time.
And what they don't understand is he had a comfortable arrest. You know what I'm saying? Like, people like DRay, it was a bunch of them that slid through. You know what I'm saying? People who gained their name and people who had a name and came in and saved their name or perpetuated their movements. You know what I'm saying? Billions of dollars, you know what I'm saying? Hundreds of millions of dollars came through St. Louis and none of it touched the community. You feel me? They stopped even speaking about the other things that was transpiring. 14 other people right after Mike Brown in a 2-year span were murdered by police officers unarmed in St. Louis, right after Mike Brown.
Yeah.
Nobody talked about those because Mike Brown was the burning building. That was the attention. The media was talking about that, but they wasn't talking about 2 years before that when Kerry Ball was shot 21 times downtown St. Louis with his hands up in his car. They weren't talking about when Ferguson police murdered unarmed Jason Moore as he was having a mental breakdown. Right. Unarmed. You know, they didn't talk about that. So people like DRay, those are struggle scholars. They can tell you every statistic in the world that somebody is going through in the hood, but they never experienced it. And I guarantee you that was the first time DRay has ever been arrested. First time I was arrested, 13 years old, handcuffed, beat by a police officer at a cell, handcuffed to a cell, because I refused to let him curse my grandmother out. You feel me? So we dealt with that. And a lot of it got dealt with in the community. Some of them not welcome here. They know they better not show their face in St. Louis. Yeah. Some of them got rich and moved on and continue to follow the ambulances.
Yeah. How about you and T-Dubb O? Y'all was like a dynamic duo. I think at South by, I was y'all biggest cheerleader. When y'all was performing, y'all was rocking. I mean, I was like, yo, these guys are killing.
T-Dubb is my big bro, man. I probably met T-Dubb, I want to say, I had been heard of him because T-Dubb was T-Dubb. You know what I'm saying? I'm younger. I was still in the street. I didn't really start taking rap serious to 2014. But I had been hearing T-Dubb name ringing. Everybody knew who T-Dubb was. And he actually started to like research me before, you know, I researched him, you know what I'm saying? Especially like in the social media format. I was battling. I had dropped a mixtape. I think it was called Monster Maniac 2. I can't remember. But he came to the show. I had a battle and a show in one event. And he was like, dude, crazy battling. I like the music. If his performance is good, we got a problem on our hands. And him and his manager, Jay Stretch, they strategic like I am. So they like, hey, either we gonna get cool with Dub or he gonna be a problem for us in a couple years.
Right.
And I mean, they just reached out and we locked in, and we shared genuine interest in regards to the city. Had the same passion in regards to what we wanted to do with hip hop, and of course, you know, our interest in regards to the political structure and eradicating that and creating liberation for us here in the city and all Black people across the board. So we just linked on a whole nother level. He kind of took me under his wing and showed me the ropes in regards to how to be an independent artist versus paying to be in these clubs and performing for nobody. You know, showing me how to book my own shows, really get some money on your own off of this music. So Tef always gonna be big bro. He know I'm a phone call away. He ever need.
Dope. What about the Obama visit? You know, that was a big deal. I think y'all made it to the White House before anybody. I think. Am I wrong?
Yeah, we was there before. So that was actually my second time there.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell you how crazy this social justice world is, and I've said this in speeches at conferences and inside churches. The social justice world is dirtier than the dope game, and I know because I've been in both. The reason I say this, the first time I actually went to the White House, it was myself and Rika Tyler, my fiance, who also was one of the co-founders of Hands Up United. She's the director of organizing right now for Missouri Faith Voices. So we went out to DC I want to say at the end of 2014, because as I said, the national organizations were coming in, they was fundraising all of this, but none of us reaching St. Louis. We met a brother by the name of Pastor Michael McBride and Reverend Alvin Herring. Now, what drew us to these guys, because there's a huge gap between generations in St. Louis, and there's also a huge gap between clergy and the streets, clergy and everyday people. So we see these two pastors out standing in front of the tanks with us. They got their collars on, the white collars, they black shirts, but these niggas got on Air Force Ones. I had never seen nothing like this from no pastors or no preachers. Most of them who was out in Ferguson from St. Louis, when it got dark, they took their ass home. You know what I'm saying? They'd show up during the day when the cameras is out there before the tanks. They'd pray in the middle of the street. They'd have organized arrest. They'd get out and go home. When it got dangerous, these brothers were still out there. So I'm like, they can't be from here. So they meet Rika and Tef. I get brought into the fold. One of them, Pastor Michael McBride, he's from Oakland. The other brother, Reverend Alvin Herring, he's from the Baltimore, D.C. area, the DMV area. They work for the biggest national faith-based organization in the country. They was there strictly for support, to show the world, like their network, what was going on and try to get support to St. Louis, because Ferguson was the biggest revolutionary moment in history since the Civil Rights Movement. A lot of people don't want to say that. A lot of people have tried to forget about Ferguson because these so many other movements have popped up since then, and they're trying to benefit from that. But Ferguson was the most important Black radical movement since the Civil Rights Movement. They knew this. They reach out to us. They say, you know what? We see all these other organizations coming in. They want to get on camera and talk for y'all. We don't want to do no interviews. Y'all talk. We want to get y'all some help. So they fly us out to DC to meet with all these funders, Kellogg being one, a bunch of other big funders, trying to get some support back to St. Louis. So we have a meeting. I tell my story, we could tell hers. We get to talking about our experiences coming up in St. Louis, everyday situations that we're dealing with. And Ashley Allison is there. She was the head of public engagement for Barack Obama at the time. So after we finish, she pulls us to the side. She says, hey, you know, I want to talk to y'all some more. Can y'all come to the White House tomorrow? Bet. So next day we go to the White House, me and Rika. We talk to her some more, continue to tell our stories, everything that's going on in St. Louis. She can't believe the things that she heard in regards to how the police and the system is set up. She continues to say she's going to set up with a person. I think she was using like a code name, like Bob or something. She would never say the president. She would never say Barack. I'm going to set up a meeting with Bob. Y'all need to meet with him. I'm thinking it's just another government official. So about a month later, I get a phone call. And it's the White House. It's Ashley. She's saying, I want y'all to come out. it was an organization out in DC named Advancement Project, who had somehow bogarted the meeting. They wanted to oversee it. They got their people involved. So when we got the invite, nobody was on there besides me. And I think later they reached out to T-Dubb O, but he got stuck in an ice storm on the highway. I mean, on the airport, at the airport, so he didn't make it. And then they was trying to keep me out of there. They said I was high risk. So Barbara Unwine, who's one of the most important and most powerful Black women in the DC area, she's a civil rights attorney. She said, without T-Dubb O in that meeting, there will be no meeting. So that's pretty much how that happened. And then like it was history. It was the first time it was nothing but Black people in the Oval Office at once. It was nothing but Black people in there, in a house that was rebuilt by slaves. We discussed what was going on. He told us he was proud of us, but at the same time, it was also kind of underwhelming because when we got to those real conversations, it was cut short. And all in all, really, you know what I'm saying, nothing transpired after those meetings.
So you're saying you met with Obama, but it didn't pan out afterwards?
For sure.
Yeah, that's what's up. What are your thoughts on the BLM movement? Do you have any thoughts on it as it has metastasized through the years? You know, I don't know if you do you?
You mean the movement as a whole or the organization?
Both. I mean,
because a lot of people don't know that there's a difference. You know,
yeah, there's a big difference. The movement seems the movement seems pretty strong. I am a little disappointed in what I've found out about the organization.
Yeah.
I'll be honest in that. You know what I'm saying?
We were speaking on it from the beginning, but you know, us coming from St. Louis, people thought they BLM is getting the light, so they thought it was hate. But really, I mean, we don't come from the social justice world. You know what I'm saying? We had nothing to gain by discrediting them. We was just simply telling the truth. And I've had the luxury to meet some of the founders of their organization, one being Patrice. She actually has a good heart. I don't know really what went wrong with the organizational part, but she has a good heart, and I know she wants to do well. I'm not really sure where they went wrong as an organization. I didn't agree with how they kind of was using Ferguson to propel their platform. I never agreed with that, and I've spoken on that publicly. I've told her. We've released articles about it. Hijacking of Ferguson is on handsupunited.org. We released articles about it in 2015. But all in all, I think she wants to, you know, actually help and do some good things. It's just unfortunate, you know, when you get in those, people don't understand how dangerous this work is, you know, and some people are easily guided to be used and a tool for the system. When those threats start to come in, those white supremacist threats start to come in, those CIA threats start to come in, FBI, people don't understand it. One thing about Ferguson is none of us, like people who are really doing it, who are really organizing, our lives will never be the same. Like if I wanted to stop all this shit today or tomorrow and go get me a regular job, it'll never be able to happen.
Right.
It'll never happen. No one in St. Louis will ever give me a job on the strength of that. You know what I'm saying? We watch constantly, still to this day. When I first opened up the studio, I'm not sure if you saw this, but I'm gonna send you the article.
Okay.
30 cops crashed our studio. While the city, people was protesting for George Floyd, while the city was on fire, they were so worried about what I was going to do. It was literally 8 buildings down the street on fire. The mayor sent 30 cops to my place of business and had us all in cuffs on the ground, like just on some intimidation shit. You know what I'm saying? And they told me, they was like, we didn't get you in Ferguson, but we'll get you this time. You know, just those constant threats. But I come from the street, so.
Crazy. You ever thought about leaving
St. Louis?
Yeah.
That ain't gonna help. I'm running away from my glory if I do that. I'm leaving so many things on the table. I'm leaving so many lives here to chance. We do some good work here. We can measure the statistics of all the people that we've put through programs, or the people we got elected, or changing certain laws, or 50,000, 100,000 books given out, 100,000 meal. We can measure all that, but I measure our success in a different way. The fact that we've stopped shootouts in the middle of programs, we've formed gang treaties, we've stopped people from hustling, we've stopped people from using. We got little dudes who were victims of a failed school system because St. Louis didn't have accreditation in a school system for decades. They learned how to read coming to Books and Breakfast. So I measure those things in a different light. You feel me? So I know I'm gonna end up buying me some property elsewhere. I love traveling. I've been around the world. You know what I'm saying? I love California. Definitely gonna end up getting me some property somewhere else. But St. Louis is always gonna be home. I'm always have a base here, and AMG is definitely gonna always be based out of St. Louis because we need it.
You know, one thing I love is that you're always able to include those messages in the music. You know, I don't know if everybody picks up on it, but I definitely pick up on it when you're doing that. Do you find that, is that just natural? Is that intentional? You know what I mean? Like, or
it's both. I definitely want to make sure that I always put those gems in there. But you know where we at in the state of hip hop. I also want to be successful in what I do. So you gotta feed niggas the good shit sneakily. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you're dealing with a child who don't want to eat vegetables. You know, they only want grilled cheese. So you gotta cut up some kale and hide it between the cheese and put a little turkey in there and melt it so they can. So I'm sneaking them gems in there as they start to process it, because I meet people where they at. You know what I'm saying? My homies, they outside.
Yeah.
So they listening to what's regular today day. I come from that. You know, I'm not actively doing that 24/7 anymore, but I come from that. I just made my exit out of this. So I still speak on my experiences and what they dealing with and what's on our plate. I also talk about the shit that's actually gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? I got more homies that's dead and in jail than that's alive right now. You feel me? The school to prison pipeline, just these different things that's gonna be a reality. When that money gone, that chick you was buying them purses for every month, where she gonna be at? You know, when that RICO come in, who gonna hold water and who ain't? Just the real situation about it. And ultimately, why are we even doing this in the first place? You know what I'm saying? The true enemy that got us in this system, to where the best thing that we can do in this moment in our neighborhood is sell drugs to our neighbors.
Yeah.
But we gotta eat. You know what I'm saying? So it's dog eat dog at this point. So either we gonna die, or we gonna do this thing ultimately we don't want to do, because we good people at heart. We just don't got no opportunity. And that lack of opportunity is what turned us into monsters. So I always try to make sure I speak on it intentionally. But then it's also natural.
What do you think about the kids? I mean, the RICO, I would think, would wake people up a little bit, but I don't know that I could. I don't think I see that happening.
Real street niggas been knew about RICOs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's this social media generation who just getting hip to what a RICO is. You know what I'm saying? What conspiracy is. You feel me? Like I was 17 and my cousin went down for conspiracy. You know, and it was so close to home. I just knew I was next. You feel me? So being able to understand what that is. And of course, I mean, studying. If I'm this type of person, if I'm gonna do something, I want to be great at it. So I'm gonna study it, even when it was crime. I studied it. You know what I'm saying? I studied people like Al Capone, so many of these other people. You know what I'm saying? The Teflon Don, all these different people, and what took them down. You know, if I'm gonna be forced to do this, I want to be great at it. And I want to know what I'm up against. So knowing those things, knowing the laws, knowing how they can get you, knowing what to do and what not to do, I think that's just something everybody should do. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, we have a misconception that if you're gonna be in the black market, you got to be dumb. Right. And it's the total opposite. If you're gonna be successful in anything, you gotta study it, know the history of it, and be great at it. So I think the fact that they care more about the attention than the consequences.
Yeah.
And I understand why, because a lot of them don't feel like they gonna make it to hit 30 anyway. So they like, look, you know what? This is what I'm finna do to get my money. I'm finna rap about it because I know it's gonna be popular. I'm gonna get me a record deal. If they come get me, so be it. You feel me? They hopeless. So it's a lot that we got to do to change that.
Yeah. Album with Tyron Woodley was really it was dope. It was actually dope. I was surprised when y'all came together. How did that happen, and how did you get what you wanted out of it?
Coco from Basement Beats actually made that happen. Coco was the producer, or is the producer from St. Louis, who produced "Shake Your Tail Feather" by Murphy Lee, Nelly, and P Diddy. Grammy Award-winning producer. Was heavily tied in with J.E., the person who created, Country Grammar, so on and so forth. Coco has been a fan, supporter, and mentor of mine for years. Anything he always asked me to do, I did it. Um, me and my homeboy Bodine got a joint with Freeway that we did in 2013. It's called "What's Up, What Up," and we met Freeway at a battle event. One of my people had a battle event. We hollered at me and both performed. We hollered at him. He was like, "Yeah, dope." We like, "Shit, well, nigga, you want to do some music?" He like, "Yeah." Of course, we talked about the business, got that squared away. It's like 3 in the morning, so I hit Coco like, "Hey, we got Freeway. We trying to do this record. What's up?" We go to Coco crib. You know what I'm saying? Coco got a whole full production studio in his house, real studio, like going into a spot in New York, in Manhattan. Like his basement is there.
Right.
So we go in there, we knocked the record out. So anytime Coco ever needed me, I was there. There was an artist, that's an artist here now that's on my label, Hills, was doing some work with Coco. And he had Tyron talking before one of the records. It was called Tell of the Tape. So after that, they started to work on a cypher joint. So we got a couple heavy hitters from St. Louis involved. And Coco was like, "Man, nah, we can't have no cypher records without Dubb on it." So the record was already done. Tyron is over there. He actually began to write a verse and put it on there. So they like, "Bro, this record, Dubb got to be on this." So Coco called me. I was just coming back in town. I pull right up to his crib. They sent me the beat. I wrote the verse in the driveway when I was parking. Came in, go straight in the booth, knock the motherfucker out. I come out. Tyron's sitting right there, and he like blown away. So I meet him. I'm like, "Bro, I'm a fan." Such. He like, "Shit, nigga, now I'm a fan." You know what I'm saying? Type shit. So we get locked in. The next day, I get a call saying, he want to work on some music. Would I be open to doing some work with him? I'm like, you know what? I fuck with everybody in my city, for sure. So they get some studio time booked. So I go down there. He working on some records, and it's Tyron Woodley. You know what I'm saying? You got producers in here, other artists. When somebody like that is around, people don't like to tell them no.
Right.
When they the famous person, they got the money, the influence. They could come out in a leopard leotard. They're gonna tell them they changing the fashion world. So he's doing some music, and I'm like, "Nah, bro, do this way. Don't say that like that. Change this. Take that line out." Like I got my executive production hat on. This is what the fuck I do. You start to listen to it. The record is now sounding better. So you like, okay. So I end up hopping on some records. So we just making records at this point. You know what I'm saying? I think he has some people interested from like 300. He got people over at Atlantic. So when he say he's interested in doing music, they hear dollar signs. So he trying to, produce an album. Coco is helping him. Eventually, I start going out to the studio with him every day. He just wanted me to help him along the process in regards to making sure he did it right. So that we just got so many records out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, "Man, we just gonna do an album together and then beat your ass happy." So he was gonna do a song. He was so angry at Dana White, I forget what the fuck they was arguing about. So he like, "Man, I wish I could make a song that I beat my motherfucking boss ass." I said, "Well, you can't do that because people gonna take it for a joke. But if you want to make a real song, we can do it this way." So Coco loaded up the beat. I wrote the hook, helped him with his verse. Then he got Wiz on that motherfucker, and it just took off.
Yeah.
So at that point, the labels that he was dealing with was hearing all hearing the records, and the best ones were the ones with us. You know what I'm saying? So we had a whole album done. He was like, "We just gonna put it out." So that's what we did.
That's classic.
He do got the best project from an athlete. So I told him he owed me for that.
Yeah. Let me think on that. I don't know that Shaq album. Shaq had some joints.
Shaq shit was though, but he also had Big writing for him. It's cheap.
See,
it's cheap.
There you go.
It's cheap.
There you go. Nobody talks about that. See, That's crazy. True indeed. True indeed. So give everybody a rundown of the label and you know, what you got going on next.
For sure. So Audacity Music Group launched and based in St. Louis, Missouri. We got G the singer, who's an incredible R&B talent. This is probably, I've heard a lot of singers live, in the studio, out of the studio, and live. G is definitely in the top 10 singers I've ever heard live in my life. And that's not because he with us. That's just me being a real fan of the genre and actually what he's capable of doing. He got an album out right now called Fame, Fortune, and Pain. It's on all platforms. G the singer, all one word. It's dope as hell. Real R&B. It ain't that R&B. I'm a want to be a rapper. I might talk about slapping you type shit. It ain't none of that. He really writing and singing his heart out. Like, he's an amazing songwriter, also amazing producer. It's great. Hills just dropped a crazy album. Hills, Come As You Are. It's phenomenal. It's his best work to date. He's done work with DJ Drama in the past, so many other people, Akon. He went through his personal struggles. You know what I'm saying? He took a long break. He back at it. He just dropped a phenomenal project. Check it out. We got Accurate on the label. He's actually from New York, but moved to East St. Louis, Illinois. Phenomenal lyricist. He's going to be dropping an album shortly called Audio Archer. Make sure I keep y'all on deck with that. Of course, Bodine, me and him, our collaboration, Bruce versus Bane, that's out now. I got an album out now called Don't Stop at Lights. Two more, the Raw Files 1 and Raw File 2. Bo is working on one currently. JD, our new pickup. He's a new artist, super drill rap, like he crazy with it though. Also super melodic. Sound is phenomenal. He got an album out right now called The Waves 2. And I'm working on my next studio album, which is going to be definitely my best work I've ever done. I really been taking some time just honing in my craft in regards to the production. Lyrics is always there. Direction is always there. I really wanted to make sure that I gave everything. Every one of my projects has been a different piece of me. I want this to encapsulate every single thing about Dubb and really just give you a classic body of work. Them five-star albums, 5 mic albums that we miss so much. You know what I'm saying? The blueprints, the Marshall Mathers LPs, things like that. So that's coming in September.
What's up? Last question. Give us your top 5 dead or alive. Top 5 dead or alive from T-Dubb O.
That's crazy because my top 5 changes.
Okay.
It changes because I still go back and study their material. And as I go back and how it dates today, my top 5 changes.
Well, who is it today?
No order. I ain't doing no order.
Okay.
Jigga, of course. Tupac, of course. Eminem. Wayne. I'm gonna go non-traditional. I'm gonna put a group for the last one.
Okay.
UGK.
Okay, that's a good list. That's a good list. And Lil Wayne turns 40 this year. I want to have a celebration. I think he needs to be celebrated.
People don't give Wayne the credit that he deserved, man. I know he kind of went in another direction from the Wayne that we fell in love with.
Yeah.
But that man, when he want to be, is still the best rapper alive. Yeah. When he wants to be. And he created an entire genre in hip hop that is that people think is coming from other places. It came from him. But everything from the Squad history to those mixtapes, the Carter 1, the Carter 2, the Carter 3, Wayne is phenomenal. He's phenomenal. You wouldn't have rappers like Kendrick Lamar without Wayne.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to get him, man, his flowers. He's definitely one of the top 5 rappers that ever touch a mic, and definitely the best rapper from the South that ever touched the mic.
Some people would argue with that with Andre 3000 still.
Andre got to give me some work.
That's true.
Got to give me some. I love 3 Stacks. He's a fucking genius, and I've been waiting on him to deliver albums for years.
Yeah.
But until he actually can prove that,
yeah,
I can't put him there. I can't put him there.
That's fair, man. Me and my boy go back and forth on that every other day. But yeah, give any final words for people?
Yeah, man. Again, AMG, T-Dubb O coming shortly. I just want to tell everybody this. I know a lot of people get discouraged in regards to what they choose to do. It don't matter what you choose to do. Your family ain't gonna support it. Your friends ain't gonna support it. None of that matter. You got to find your glory, your path, and you got to stick to it. Don't give up. You miss every shot that you never take. And who knows, as you keep digging, the diamond mine might be right there. You could be digging for 15 years and you decide, oh, I'm finna quit. I'm finna go work and fold clothes. Yeah. Diamonds and the oil is right there, man. You just got to keep hammering away. Keep that faith and belief in yourself. And it's time for us to stand up as a people. They playing that game on our back. We knock all them pieces off the board the minute we decide to stand up. So we got to come together.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you, man. Salute. And we gonna build.